Principle 4. Specialized knowledge. Your value is determined by what you know how to use. Money does not reward effort. Money does not reward hard work. Money rewards value that the market recognizes. And that value does not come from knowing many things. It comes from knowing the right thing and knowing how to use it to solve problems. This is where most people misunderstand knowledge. They believe that the more they study, the more degrees they earn, the more opportunities they will have. Reality works the opposite way. The market does not care how long you studied. It only asks 3 questions. What problem can you solve? At what level? And how fast? General knowledge does not create wealth. Broad information does not create power. Only specialized knowledge, applied correctly, produces extraordinary income. A person can study for 10 years, but if that knowledge does not produce clear value, their income remains limited. Meanwhile, another person focuses on one narrow field, goes deep enough, and earns more in a much shorter time. The difference is specialization. Knowledge does not need to be wide, it needs to be sharp. The world does not reward those who know everything. It rewards those who know one thing extremely well. Most people stay stuck because they learn by accumulation. They collect information. They watch videos. They read books. They listen to podcasts. But they never turn that knowledge into a skill the market will pay for. They know a lot, but no one pays for what they know. That is not specialized knowledge. That is entertainment knowledge. Specialized knowledge always has 3 traits. First, it is tied to a specific problem. Second, it can be applied immediately. Third, it produces measurable results. If what you learn does not meet all 3, it will not make you wealthier. Specialized knowledge does not come from classrooms. Schools provide foundations. Real value is created in the marketplace. Many people hold advanced degrees, yet do not know how to make money. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they do not understand the rules of value. The market does not pay for knowledge. It pays for the use of knowledge. You may know a great deal about finance, but if you cannot help someone make more money or save money, that knowledge has no commercial value. You may understand marketing deeply, but if you cannot help a business sell, that knowledge stays theoretical. Specialized knowledge always carries responsibility for results. That is why truly wealthy people rarely talk about how much they know. They only care about one thing. What problem can I solve? And they continuously improve that answer. A major mistake beginners make is trying to learn many fields at once. They believe versatility is safety. In reality, versatility makes you invisible. If you look like everyone else, the market has no reason to pay you more. High income is always tied to scarcity, and scarcity only appears when you specialize. Specialization does not mean limitation. It means choosing a core value and expanding outward from that core. A strong salesperson can expand into marketing. A finance expert can expand into investing. But without a core, everything becomes scattered. Specialized knowledge is not learned once and finished. It must evolve with the market. Markets change. Problems change. Value belongs to those who continuously learn to solve new problems. Poor people learn to know. Wealthy people learn to use. This is the fundamental difference. When you approach learning by asking, "How will I use this?" you step into the mindset of wealth creation. If you learn only to feel smarter, knowledge will never generate income. Specialized knowledge does not need to be complex. It only needs to match real demand. Some people earn large sums because they understand one small but critical problem very well. The market does not care whether a problem looks impressive. It only cares if the problem is painful. Solving painful problems creates high value. Specialized knowledge is not about volume, it is about selection. You do not need to know everything. You need to know what directly affects results. Successful people do not learn more than you. They learn more precisely. And they are willing to ignore what does not produce value. This is the hardest part for beginners. Ignoring things feels like lacking. In reality, focus is what makes you dangerous. Specialized knowledge is the foundation of real confidence. Not artificial confidence, but confidence built on capability. When you know you can solve problems, you do not need to prove yourself. You speak less, you choose carefully, and you never compete on price. People with specialized knowledge do not sell time, they sell solutions, and solutions are always priced higher. In this first part, remember these 3 truths. Knowledge does not create money. Using knowledge creates money. High income is tied to specialization, not general information. To increase your value, you must go deep, not wide. The principle of specialized knowledge. Knowledge by itself does not create money. If knowing more automatically made people rich, then libraries would have been full of millionaires a long time ago. The market does not pay you for what you know. The market pays you for the value your knowledge creates in the real world. Some people spend their entire lives studying, reading countless books, attending endless courses, yet their income barely changes. Meanwhile, others master only a narrow field, but they go deep enough that every time they use that knowledge, money follows. The difference is not how much you know, the difference is how you use what you know. Specialized knowledge is not meant to be displayed, it is a tool, and tools are meant to be used, not admired. Many people fall into the trap of over-preparation. They keep learning and tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, confident, or perfect. The truth is, that moment never comes. Those who build real wealth move differently. They learn just enough to begin. They step into the market while still imperfect. Then they let reality teach them lessons no book can fully explain. The real world does not reward perfection. It rewards speed, courage, and adaptability. You do not need to be the best. You only need to be more useful than the person who needs you. 1 step ahead creates value. 2 steps ahead creates leadership. 3 steps ahead allows you to set your price. Specialized knowledge only becomes valuable when it is tied to a specific problem. The clearer the problem, the greater the value. The deeper the pain, the more money flows. If your knowledge solves no real pain, it remains theory. If it solves vague problems, it produces vague income. But if it solves a clear and urgent problem that people are desperate to escape, your knowledge becomes an asset. People who struggle financially ask themselves what they like to learn. People who win ask what problems the market is desperate to solve. That question alone separates curiosity from wealth. Specialized knowledge should not be chosen by emotion. It must be chosen by demand. The market does not care about your passion. It only cares whether you can fix what hurts. Another common mistake is learning too broadly, knowing a little about everything but not enough about anything useful. In the money game, breadth does not feed you. Depth does. One deeply mastered skill can support you for years. A handful of half-developed skills only drains your focus and weakens your position. Those with wealth-building minds choose a single core axis. They go so deep that the market is forced to recognize them. Everything else they learn exists only to support that core, never to dilute it. General education helps you understand the world. Specialized knowledge allows you to extract value from it. Degrees may help you get hired, but valuable skills are what increase your worth. High income does not come from how long you studied. It comes from how much money your skills help others save, earn, or protect. Knowledge only becomes powerful when it is packaged. Knowledge trapped in your head only serves you. When it is structured, refined, and delivered clearly, it becomes something others are willing to pay for. Those who keep knowledge locked inside remain poor in opportunity. Those who turn knowledge into assets gain leverage and choice. Not everyone needs to learn more. Everyone needs to learn what they will actually use. How you learn matters far less than why you learn. Learning to impress feeds the ego. Learning to create value feeds wealth. The wealthy are not proud of knowing more. They're proud of knowing enough to decide faster, stand stronger, and command higher value in the market. And over time, it is not only their knowledge that grows, their price does too. The principle of specialized knowledge. There is a truth few people are willing to accept. No one builds real wealth alone. No individual, no matter how intelligent, can personally possess all the knowledge required to dominate a serious game. The wealthy understand this early, which is why they never try to become the person who knows everything. They focus on becoming the person who knows how to use the knowledge of others. At the highest level, specialized knowledge no longer lives inside one person's mind. It exists in networks, in teams, and in relationships built with intention. Struggling minds try to learn more. Powerful minds look for faster access to those who already know. Instead of asking what they need to study next, they ask who has already walked the path and how they can stand beside that person. This is leverage thinking, and leverage is what separates employees from owners. Small thinkers believe paying for knowledge is expensive. Big thinkers understand that trying to learn everything alone is far more costly. Your time is an asset that can never be refunded. Every year you spend figuring out what someone else mastered in 10 years is a year you pay with your life. The wealthy do not pay for information. They pay for speed, precision, and the ability to avoid fatal mistakes. They are willing to share profits to shorten the road. At the highest level, specialized knowledge is no longer about knowing how to do the work. It is about knowing who does it best. It is no longer about mastering every detail, but about connecting the right people at the right moment in the right roles. When you reach this level, your value is no longer tied to manual skill or individual intellect. It is tied to coordination. You become the center of value flow, and money always moves toward the center. A common mistake of intelligent but broke people is their obsession with doing everything themselves. They believe total control equals safety. In reality, total control limits them to the size of their own capacity. The wealthy trade control of details for scale. They understand they only need to know enough to make decisions, not enough to do every task personally. Specialized knowledge, when combined correctly, creates compounding power. One person strong in sales, combined with another strong in systems, is exponentially more powerful than either working alone. One who understands markets, combined with one who understands human behavior, creates influence that multiplies. This is why the wealthy invest heavily in relationships, not social relationships, but value-based ones. They do not ask what someone knows, they ask what problem that person solves. When two people solve different but connected problems within the same money flow, partnership becomes inevitable. At this level, knowledge is no longer something to collect, it is something to organize. You do not need to be smarter, you need to be more strategic. Another reality few people understand is this: specialized knowledge only becomes durable when it is backed by reputation. Knowledge can be acquired quickly, trust cannot. The wealthy know that knowledge must be proven through repeated results, not once, not twice, enough times that others feel safe placing confidence in your decisions. Reputation is an invisible asset, but one of the most expensive assets in the world. It allows you to speak less and be heard more, to do less and be paid more, to move slower and go farther. Knowledge without reputation is opinion. Knowledge with reputation becomes standard. And when you become the standard in a field, you no longer chase opportunity. Opportunity comes to you. At this stage, the wealthy no longer sell knowledge by the hour. They sell outcomes. They sell vision. They sell decision-making power at moments where a single wrong move can destroy everything. That is why their income is no longer tied to time. It is tied to trust. At its deepest level, specialized knowledge is no longer about learning more every day. It is about refining, cutting away what no longer serves the objective, keeping only what creates the strongest leverage. The poor fear missing out. The wealthy fear dilution. One tries to hold everything. The other is willing to discard anything that no longer creates value.
In the end, specialized knowledge is not a journey of endless accumulation. It is a ruthless process of selection. Selecting what to go deep on, selecting who to stand with, selecting where to position yourself. And when you stand in the right position with the right knowledge, the right network, and the right reputation, money is no longer something you chase. It becomes the natural consequence of the value you control. That is the highest level of this principle: quiet, unshowy, and extremely powerful.
Follow, subscribe, and share the channel to gain new knowledge and grow every day.